It really is a privilege to be sitting here to speak about Rabbi Ben Skydell and Shani Skydell and about what they mean to our community and our congregation and how we are building our future around them. Ever since they've been here, Rabbi Ben and Shani have brought in a special kind of energy and love and spiritualism, and there are our role models and our teachers for how this congregation community should strive and grow.
I just want to say a few words about Rabbi Ben Skydell and Shani as personal friends, because I'm sure that everyone has already said wonderful things about Rabbi Skydell as a professional rabbi, a leader, a teacher, a lecturer, and Shani as a wonderful, wonderful nursery director. But for us, for my rabbi and for me, the best part of having Rabbi Skydell and Shani as the shul is their friendship and their respect. And I hope we will feel that way for many, many years to come, to share our camaraderie. And I very much look forward to seeing Shani across the way from me in shul smiling on Shabbos morning.
Rabbi Skydell is our rabbi in synagogue and out of synagogue. Rabbi Skydell and Shani as well answer phone calls at all hours of the day, from funny questions that Daniel and I have to serious life questions that we go to them for guidance and for mentorship and for advice.
Certainly in the last years, since Rabbi Skydell has joined us, I always call him Rabbi Yeoman, has joined our community. We have seen rabbinic leadership, friendship, willing to work hard, long hours. None of you may have seen how to degree to make certain that we have a minyan for mincha every afternoon. But above all, as been noticed to all of you, a very special relationship we have to each other. Rabbi Skydell is a man of learning, of compassion, of feeling, and we feel like havrusas to each other. And those who've seen us in shul know that as we talk to each other, not during the davening, not during lady, you can see that we're sharing.
Yes, during the davening.
That we are sharing many of the joys and responsibilities and the friendships throughout the years.
I think that Ben's contribution to Orach Chaim is his love and caring for the congregation, his organizing of all sorts of activities, such as the rescue missions after Superstorm Sandy that went to Long Beach. His involvement with his wonderful, wonderful wife, Shani, and their terrific children, and his general concern for everybody, his love of Yiddishkeit, his love of Torah, his love of the outside world, and his ability to meld all of that together into a unique whole.
Orach Chaim is a unique place in that I feel that people come here because they actually really want to hear something. They want to experience something. They want something that is authentic, that is meaningful, something that speaks to their mind and to their soul. And it's a place where everyone recognizes that we are much stronger together than we are individually, and that everyone's voice, everyone's life experience, everyone's story is not only welcome, but it's treasured. It's a unique place in that in a big city, you feel not only like you're wanted, but that you're needed. And that in a real way, the experience that other people have is incomplete.
The thing that I find incredible about him is that I go to his 8:18 Shabbos morning class. I go to his Wednesday night class. I think that the wealth of knowledge that he has, but it's a certain kind of knowledge. It's not an abstract. It's not thinking philosophical ideas, which he has, but it's what I would call tachlis. It's real, and his examples are real. In fact, it's interesting that there are people who have come to his class, who go to other synagogues, and who said, oh, I didn't know it was that interesting.
You're listening to someone with things that you haven't heard before. And sometimes they're not comfortable. Sometimes they make you wonder. Sometimes they make you angry. But they're real and they're authentic, and I think that that's something people are drawn to and want to hear. And I think those are Ben's biggest strengths as the community rabbi.
There are many times that I say to him, after he finishes his speech on a Shabbat or his Shabbat Haggadah Drasha, where I say, we got to figure out a way that we got to videotape this because the masses have to listen to this. You're striking notes and chords in our heart that have never been struck before.
You can see that they have a wonderful relationship.
I know that, I wouldn't say my harshest critic, but the person that is paying attention the most and has the most insightful comments about what didn't work and what did work, what was important, what was not important, what was well thought out and what wasn't so well thought out is Shani, my wife. I know that when I come home, I will get the best possible feedback because it is straightforward and it is honest and it is real. And that is really a tremendous blessing as well.
He is who he is, and it's very real and it's very authentic, and I think that experience is extremely alluring to people because people feel like, oh, this is the real deal. This is a guy with real emotions, with real opinions, doesn't really hide much, which is a good thing.
After Rabbi Skydell finishes, the first person he looks at is Shani. In the first couple of years, Shani would give it a number, whether it was a 10, a 4, or a 5. But she no longer does that because we've caught on. And we're all sitting there every time. There's a bunch of us in the corner there that are waiting for her to put up the 10, the 4. And she's a wonderful critic of the work that he does. And together with their kids, really a blessing for our synagogue. When it came to looking for a doctor of divinity, which is what they are, rabbis, when it came time to that, my father basically said the same thing. He said, look, we're going to bring in rabbis here. They all have the same, credentials. What you want is a guy that you can talk to and basically pour your heart out in good times and crack up with in happy times.
Recently, someone in our community had lost a parent, and the person was really in serious distress. They were in the hospital still, and they had just lost their mom. And there was a room on the side where a member of our Chavra Kadisha was also with this person, and Ben was with them as well. And so they were really, in that moment, just kind of laying everything out and figuring out what steps were next. And at the same time, there were moments where if you were walking by the room, there was laughter also. And it wasn't a morose feeling. It kind of just felt like there was a lot of intensity, but then at the same time, there was a sense of comfort because Ben has a way of making people feel comfortable, laughing about themselves, laughing a lot of self-deprecation, laughing at him in those moments, and I think that's comforting to people. When Ben talks about somebody who had passed and speaks to their family members, he finds certain unique details that people don't pick up on. And those are those unique details that really help a family move forward and mourn a loss in a way that has a different type of level of depth. So listening to Ben give a eulogy and really finding those key things that represent a person's life that not everyone is really focusing on I know it brings comfort to some.
They started on, I think it was September 1st. And I think 3 days later, Hurricane Sandy struck. So this is where we saw where there are people who talk the talk and there are people who walk the walk. It was Shani who, within hours of the horrific events that took place in New York and the flooding, called up and said, we're going to mobilize our community to do A, B, and C and collect specifically clothing. We're in touch with the rabbi out in Long Beach. This is what they need. And within 48 hours, we had 225, 250 boxes full of cleaning items, clothing, and then through our Hatzalah connections and other connections, we caravanned into a flooded Long Beach and delivered it to the synagogue, to the rabbi who was there. And we did it again 2 nights later with another 150 boxes of assorted items, and the items that we had delivered 2 nights before were already gone. So we already saw a side of Shani right from the get-go.
The fact that we are open all the time to all different, walks of people from different experiences is what we can give to the world around us. In a world where everyone is being judged on what they post, on what they wear, on the fact that this is a place that's just not like that, and the antithesis of that. I believe that that's our biggest strength and our biggest selling point. We are not that. We are just not that. We are not, how many posts and likes do we have on Twitter or Facebook, or we are just come as you are. And I believe that that is the future of our shul.
My goal for the future is that we expand the circle of who's in the shul. We expand the circle of what we're offering. We expand the circle of voices that are heard, people that are engaged. We make this synagogue really a model for what 21st century Jewish engagement is supposed to look like.
We're building this whole event around them because we're dedicating our future to such amazing leadership.
Double the membership in size, to have more kids, running around, getting grape juice on Friday night, going up during Anam Zemiros and kissing the Torah. We should have, more Torahs because we're going to have so many, hopefully more kids, that are going to want to, go up there and be greeted by Rabbi Shmimon and Rabbi Skydell. So again, I hope as the years go on and as Or Chaim has continued success, this place is just filled to capacity and over capacity.
Those who know the history of our shul know that modesty and dignity has been one of our features. Namely, we are a shul that seeks to serve every Jew who comes into shul, regardless of background. Everyone who comes in is made to be friendly, and Rabbi Skydell has played a very important role in seeing to it that those who come to our shul, our community, are welcome, made to feel at home, and to recognize that we appreciate very much their coming. And may God grant me and Chai many more years that we can work together with Rabbi Skydell to be his members
and
Shani, and to greet the old-time members of the congregation who have been so devoted to our history for so long, and looking forward every week to see the new faces, the new people, the smachot that we've had in the last few years in that congregation.
Shani and Rabbi Skydell embrace all that's great about the Or Chaim community. They are all inclusive. They accept people's differences. In fact, they embrace their differences. They welcome all.
I hope that everyone in your shul understands what a tremendous gift you are and the values that you bring. May you continue to shine and be a light unto the nations. May you continue to grow and be the wonderful Rabbi and Rebbitzin that you truly are and truly can be. Mazel tov. It has been my honor and privilege to serve as the rabbi here because I feel that this is a really, really special and unique place. And somebody once said that it's a big city synagogue, a big city shul with a very small town feel. The congregation is a very sophisticated, urbane community, and they demand not easy answers and glib cliches, but the real, true depth of the Jewish tradition and what it means to their lives. And in many ways, it's the great challenge that I've had as the rabbi here, but also the great blessing.
There's no joy like the joy I feel when I sit next to Shani in the seat that was occupied by Rebbitzin Langer and just look down and see my son standing there and speaking so beautifully and so warmly to a congregation that loves and appreciates him for the wonderful person that he is.
When I step into Seoul, I know it's going to be a good day.